tell us. Dozeman is the name of the baker around the corner. Spitty is the name of our dog. So what he is really trying to say is that he is very hungry, and that it is a dog's life in Mauthausen. We realized then that the Germans would be without mercy in their plans to eradicate the Jewish population in Holland. My father looked at me with worried eyes and said, "I must do everything in my power to prevent us being sent to Germany." There were many raids in the Jewish quarter during the summer of 1942. We saw families dragged from their homes, never to be heard of again. Some of these people were crying when they were taken away. Others were relieved that the suspense of waiting was over. We watched through the curtains as the Germans marched long columns of people down the street to the station, where the trains would take them far away from the things they loved and lived for. My family used to feel very sad after each of these raids, as our friends and relatives disappeared, and God only knew what was happening to them. Until now, we had been very lucky. My father was a well-to-do textile merchant. When the raid started, someone told my father that we could buy our freedom from the German SS commander, Austerfunten, in the form of a work deportation exemption. We could then be exchanged for prisoners of war via Portugal. My father did not hesitate. He sold most of his valuables and my mother's jewels and managed to get about 500,000 guilders together. He did not know whether this was enough money, but after talking it over with Mum, he decided to give it a try. The question was, who was going to approach Austerfunten? The person would have to go to SS headquarters. This was dangerous. Many people had gone there and not returned. After a long discussion, Mum persuaded Dad to let her go. She reasoned that a woman might have a better chance of being admitted to Seefunten. On the sunny morning of the 22nd of September 1942, my mother set out to walk the 8 miles to try to save her family, as Jews were not permitted to travel on buses or trams. All day we lived a nightmare, trying not to think of all the things that might happen to our mother. The day dragged on until at 5 o'clock that afternoon, the telephone rang. After some hesitation, my father picked up the receiver, afraid of what he might hear. But then his face transformed into a smile. Mum was all right and on her way back home. Imagine our happiness when Mum arrived, tired but safe, a few hours later. Dad said that he would never permit her to do a thing like that again, as he had died 1,000 times during the day. Mum smiled happily, her mission completed. She had spoken to Austerfunten and was told to come back with the money and our passports the next week. She was also instructed to have suitcases prepared with clothes for all of us, so that we could be ready at a moment's notice for our trip to freedom. How wonderful! Our spirits lifted. Soon we might live in freedom again as human beings, without being shunned or hunted. The next day we all had our pictures taken, and our fingerprints were put on our passports. The week passed, and Mum set out once more for the SS headquarters. Another unbearable day loomed ahead of us, but this time Mum came home earlier, with photocopies of our precious passports stamped by order of Austerfunten. The holder of this passport is exempt from work deportation. The work deportation exemption protected us from being taken away during the raids, which went on night after night. We desperately wanted to believe the Austerfuntens' verbal promises that we would be exchanged for prisoners of war. My grandfather was already in a camp in Groningen, put to work there by the Germans. He had been a merchant in the meat industry when early in 1941 the Germans forbade the Jews to enter abattoirs. My grandfather had to make a living somehow, and with the help of his non-Jewish colleagues, he was able to slaughter some cattle and sheep on a farm near Amsterdam.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.